6:33 now. I'll call the meeting to order. First up, modifications and changes. Anything?
I think we may add another. The folks from Kairos International, we had some questions for them to come back with, so they came back to answer some more questions for their application for the 7th of September. And I believe, and then Heather has this too.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I'm
I haven't had service all day, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So I gotta review this. That's it.
Alright. Up next, public comment. Is there anybody here from the public who wishes to speak tonight?
We do have Sean Coleman is here. He's to speak to our hazard mitigation plan agenda.
Good job.
Nice outdoor view there.
Having no public comment, we'll move on to review and approval for minutes of August 13th, 2024.
They look fine.
Danny said they look good. Motion to approve.
Yep.
Eli's the first, Heather with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, up to the hazard mitigation plan, final review.
Take it, Sean, or?
Yeah, I'll give a quick overview. The feed is a little bit really choppy on my end. So if I might give you a call tomorrow, jump on the front comments if there are. But basically every municipality is eligible for applying for hazard mitigation planning funds if they have a hazard mitigation plan. So the hazard mitigation planning funds, you can do, the home buyouts, you can do road, bridge, infrastructure type improvements to the community. But the unfortunate thing about it is you have to follow a FEMA process for the mitigation plan. So that's why I think John distributed the draft plan that we came up with. We've been working on it for I guess we started in October and then full on in January to get this plan done with mitigation team that John pulled together. We had to follow all FEMA guidance to get the plan done. And so right where we're at now in the process is that we have to go out for the public comment, but before we open any feedback that the trustees might have from the plan, if you guys were able to take a look at the plan and review it, if you had any comments or not. I know John looked at it. Part of the public comment period is, we'll ask that the village post it on their website. I work for Northwest Regional Planning in St. Albans. We'll post it on our website. We'll kick it out to the community. We can print out some copies and make them available to the village office, the library, if people want to come in and look at it. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I've done a bunch of these in the past. We usually get about one public comment per community, and it's usually has something to do with we mislabeled something on a map. But if there's anything that you don't agree with or would like to see changed, shoot John an email or me an email, and I think that's all explained. That's all explained in the plan on how to do that. And I think for tonight, I think our big question was how long of a public comment period do you like? So what you do is you put it out for public comment for like 2 weeks or 30 days, and then if whatever we get for comments, we either incorporate it into the plan or not. And then we have one final, like I'll come to the next meeting or in a month, I'll come to the next meeting, and then you make a motion to submit it to the plan to Vermont Emergency Management for their review, and then they'll do their internal review, and then they will forward it to FEMA, and FEMA will do their review, and if it meets all FEMA's criteria, then we'll get a notice that you can go ahead and adopt it. And once you adopt it, then the village becomes eligible for those mitigation plans. The ERAF rate that the village has, the Emergency Relief Assistance Fund, the match rate drops quite a bit. And for those of you that aren't familiar, ERAF, Emergency Relief Assistance Fund, is whenever there's a presidential declared disaster and the community, if you have a certain amount of damages, typically the community has to come up with 25% match, and FEMA will pay 75% of the damages. The community pays 25% match of whatever the total cost of the damages were. With ERAF, if you have mitigation plan, the plan grows as you are, that enables everybody to have flood insurance in the community that wants it. If you meet those 4 criteria, then the match rate would drop to 12.5%. And if you were to go a step further and adopt river corridors, do something with a community rating system, by FEMA, and reducing your overall community rating. And that's a process that the zoning administrator would have to go through, and not very many communities do that. I think there's only a handful in Vermont that actually do that. It would drop the match down to 7.5%. But I think you might, I think the village and town, I think maybe are currently working on the river corridor bylaw updates. But anyway, regardless, you'll at least be eligible for only half the match with the adoption of the mitigation plan. Plus, you can apply for all the mitigation money that's currently available and on the table with Vermont Emergency Management. Probably going to get more mitigation grant money coming into the state because of the 2 disasters that occurred this year. Even though the disasters didn't occur in our region, we're still at, all the pool of money that comes back from FEMA, any municipality can still apply. So there's a lot of funding out there right now that would be good for any infrastructure improvements for the community, or like I said, buyouts that the community wants to do. This is probably the worst part of meeting that ERAF rate, doing the mitigation plan. They're the most cumbersome, and like I said, you have to follow the FEMA process, and that can be really difficult for rural communities because they expect a lot of information and a lot of public input that simply isn't part of our reality in rural areas. And so that's pretty much my spiel. And so I guess my question is, I'm assuming that everybody read it. I know you probably haven't. You probably skimmed it. At best, maybe a few of you had, which is great. But I don't know what is typical for the village for a public comment period on a plan. If it's 2 weeks or 4 weeks. And I guess I'll put that back, to John or the trustees on how you want to do that.
Do a month? First meeting next month?
Gives them a little more
Or
time.
wait, it'll be like second meeting.
Right.
Yeah. Should be
September 24th.
24. Yeah.
24th?
Yep. I'm good with that.
Great. I caught a few errors in the plan that I think John sent out that on my end, typos. I did spell check, but it still missed some stuff. And there's some font, formatting stuff I'll clean up. There's a lot in the plan. If you look at anything, I'd look at the mitigation strategy section, the chapter 6 that starts on page 43 that kind of lays out what your projects are, what you're hoping to accomplish in the next 5 years. And if you don't accomplish them in the next 5 years, because that's the planning cycle for these mitigation plans, there's no harm nor foul for the village. It's just that you've laid out a strategy and you're hoping to meet it. Life happens, and sometimes, in 5 years, some of that stuff you may not be able to have met it for whatever reason, any variety of reasons. But that's probably really the meat of the plan.
Yeah, I read it.
Is there any questions?
My only question was about homeowners insurances, but it sounds like you touched on that a little bit.
Homeowners insurance?
Yeah, if it would affect homeowners,
Or flood
like
insurance?
flood insurance, yeah.
No, this won't affect current rates for homeowners insurance or flood insurance rates. This won't at all. But as you probably know, and I'm sure probably Greta or Emily Kloff from my office or Stacy Pomeroy from Agency of Natural Resources might have been, John's probably aware of it as well. and your zoning administrator is definitely aware that FEMA is remapping the flood zones in the Missisquoi River Basin right now. They're updating all the old 1980 maps, because the river isn't where it was back in 1980. And so that will, who's in the flood zone, who's out, who may need flood insurance, who may not. Greta and Emily Clough from my office are working with the zoning administrators and with the Agency of Natural Resources, and they're all working with FEMA with the data when it's available, to review the data and look at the maps. There's like a whole public comment period to make sure that those are changed. So that could have implications on the flood zones where they actually are. It will have implications on where the flood zone actually is in the village.
Great, thanks.
This doesn't.
Whatever you just said.
All right, so we'll reconvene here in 4 weeks after the public comment period and go from there.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate all the help from everybody in the village for putting this plan together. And yeah, John will talk to you tomorrow about posting it and all that other stuff.
Sounds good.
Great,
Have a
thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you.
John.
Have a good night.
Nice.
Let's skip to these folks.
Yeah, sure, actually, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty riveting.
So some of the questions we discussed, Philip. So some of the follow-up questions that we had asked for them to come back with was, they were first considering closing Missisquoi Street at 12:30 after Champlain Chevrolet closed. Update on portlets, event insurance that they have to get to the office here, and then had they discussed with Lions Club the power dog houses.
Wish I had a copy of the original.
I do have it
To
here.
look back on.
Because that, not because of. I'll give you that.
So, yes, we'd like to have Missisquoi Street closed. And then, yes, on the portalets, we've got Working Dog bringing 2 more in. And then, as far as the insurance certificate, can we email that or, okay. Do you know if Akua has your email address or?
Actually, it does have it. It's also on the village website.
Okay,
Under
perfect.
staff, you can, either one of us, as long as one of us gets it, it's
Okay.
perfectly
Yep.
fine.
That'll work. And we did have a question as far as on the stage. I think the power or something is under the stage. There's access to it.
No, so in the park permit on that Friday, the light department will go turn power on to everything. So we've added 2 outlets, so there's actually 2 outlets now that are stage level.
Okay.
And they're both off separate breakers.
She had, Koa asked about a key to the basement or unlock under the stage and then the outside power boxes so
Yeah,
they
so-
can access
Anything you
those.
need underneath.
Yeah, there's
So as
nothing
long as-
underneath, this
okay.
those 2 power boxes, they're
Yeah.
both different breakers, we've had other
Yeah.
bands there, so they shouldn't like blow up a breaker
Yeah.
like
Okay.
it should be.
They're on the school street side if you're
Yep.
up on the bandstand.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
But you said somebody's gonna be there in the morning?
We'll turn on all the power
Yeah.
on Friday.
Will we have just a way to contact them in case whatever happens, that,
If you call our main office number,
yeah,
you'll get Swanton Dispatch.
yeah,
They will page out whoever the on-call is if you're having an issue.
okay.
And then earlier in the day, because I think they'll start setting up some things on Friday afternoon, how late would someone be here? Just call that number.
If you need anything from
Regardless.
us, yeah, just call that number.
Okay.
And then just kind of describe if it's a power issue or something, they'll dispatch
Okay.
our light department. If it's something within the park, they'll dispatch our highway department.
You say you're gonna be setting up Friday afternoon?
That's what,
Akua had
Friday
called
evening,
and asked a few days ago if it was possible for them to start setting up a few things Friday evening, which we didn't have anything else scheduled in the park for Friday evening.
Can you remember what the dates are?
September 7th is the actual date of the event.
So it'd be the, well,
and the insurance is covered for that Friday as well if we're able to get in there. So it will be covered for Friday and Saturday.
and what do you plan on setting up?
Probably tables, something.
Maybe tents
Yeah.
to get, just to get some things set up. I don't know all, I'm not in that part of it. She didn't mention exactly
Yeah, but it's
what,
not like,
but
it's gonna be all lightweight stuff, like tents and tables.
I think
Tents will be tied down.
Yeah,
Tent
they'll
tie
have
downs.
little anchors, yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna be a 2-day permit. And then we also need to adjust if you plan on placing any temporary structures that must be secured to the ground.
okay, so I'll
That's gonna
Make
be
sure there's
a yes.
Those corkscrew dog tie downs work really well. You screw them
Okay.
right into the ground.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to take them out.
Yep. And you're not planning on any food trucks, any vendors of any sort?
We were going to,
just have a tent ourselves
yeah,
on Saturday, nothing on Friday, but just for Saturday, just because,
the food truck situation, they all want like prepaid and stuff. It's kinda weird. Seems like they
So
want-
you're gonna do your own food in a tent?
yeah. So we were going to do, a grill, and we're getting a refrigeration unit from the Lions Club, so that we can keep things in that. We'll have grill, and it'll be simple, it'll basically be hot dogs and hamburgers and things like that, cookies and chips. So just so that people can have some food, but nothing extremely complicated. And then we have also notified some of the local restaurants and the stores, so that they can be aware of that as, hopefully bringing in good business for them as well.
Have you talked to Champlain Chevy about closing Missisquoi?
I have not, I know that.
It's set up for after they're closed anyway.
But it would be,
They close at noon.
Okay, and do you plan on having Missisquoi closed Friday evening as well?
no,
Okay.
no, it wouldn't be. The only reason that we would be going in to set up some things, I think, and to get an idea of
like,
how the electric and different, the layout would be for where we're going to set up the tents.
Okay.
Kind of walked around a little bit, looking at the height of the trees, because that'll dictate where you can put a tent. So I think we've got a good idea as far as what the layout will be, but then it would just be the cords and what we want to do from there.
And then the 500 people that expected to attend, plus or minus, is that over the course of the whole day, or is that
Yeah.
like at one point?
No,
Okay.
more or less coming and going.
Okay.
The park would be packed.
I was just thinking.
Yeah,
And the dog houses should be set up so you don't have to cross sidewalks with power lines.
that'd be good.
and
There's
then,
one kind of in between every sidewalk.
Yeah, and I think somebody from the Lions Club is gonna help us,
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
understand how they usually lay it out. So,
and Abundant Life Church, that they said they would open up so that if people needed a restroom for there as well, or, just needed to, we'll have some places for them to set up, so it'll kind of help relieve some of the number of people that would be in the park as well.
And then what are your thoughts on parking? There's gonna be a lot of people in and out.
yeah, we've already talked to the school, so they can have the overflow parking there.
Perfect.
And then we'll have at least one dedicated golf cart that can help with people. We may have to help people come back and forth, especially like elderly or handicapped people that might need some assistance.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? I've made some amendments here to this application. So instead of it just being 9/7/24, it'll also be 9/6/24, just to give you the
Okay.
evening.
Yeah. That's great.
Time frame on that, on the Friday evening?
I would say that it won't be before like 4 PM or something.
We did advise probably after 3, just because the guys usually mow the parks
Yeah.
on Fridays.
So
And I did
3
give-
to 10?
I did
Yeah,
give
something
them
like
a
that.
heads up.
I would say 4, because let school get out too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't wanna have to battle with
Yes.
4 PM to 10. And
You might wanna
then
cross the street.
on the 7th, you have 8 to 10.
Yeah.
10 or 11? 10. Gotta be 10. Gotta be noise ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Park
Park
closes
closes
at
at
10.
Okay, yeah.
Well, the music should be stopped at 9 o'clock, and then we'll need some time to get everything broken down, but it's good to know if it goes over a few minutes. It definitely would be, would not be beyond 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But it's set up now to be
Even
9.
the noise ordinance kicks in at
Yeah.
time, so.
Yeah, okay. So we have a date change, 9/6/24 from 4 PM to 10, and then 9/7/24 from 8 AM to 10. That's the day that Missisquoi will be closed.
From 12:30 on.
Closed starting at 12:30 on. And then you do plan on placing temporary structures, that's a yes. And then on the bottom, describing your plans for traffic control, I just put overflow parking at the school.
Perfect.
And then you have your bandstand permit with power. So, yeah, gonna be a big event. What's the board think? Any other amendments or things that we need to?
I think you got it all.
Everything's covered.
And then you'll get a
Yep,
copy of your
certificate.
insurance
Yep, we'll get to what
Yes.
needs
to us
Yep.
somehow, yep. Okay, yeah, motion to accept the
Amended.
Kairos International Parks permit with amendments.
Move.
Second.
You have the first, Sandy with the second, all those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and those opposed nay. And then the bandstand has already been
That was approved.
approved.
Yep.
And you don't need to get under the bandstand for any reason.
You don't
No,
wanna go into there.
I think it was mostly the power.
No,
You
you
don't
don't
wanna
wanna.
know
No, no, you're gonna sit there and go, oh, no, we don't wanna go
This
there.
will hold on that.
I definitely,
I mean, there's worse probably, but there's better.
Okay,
Great.
All right, have a good
Thanks for
evening.
coming in.
guys.
thank you very
Have a
much.
great event.
Thank you, we will.
We'll see you there.
Thank you.
alright, up next we have wastewater allocations audit.
So, Brian was planning to be here tonight, but he's been under the weather, so he had a called up sick. So we'll probably follow up, we'll discuss some things tonight, and then follow up probably next meeting, and just a couple of these things you probably have to think on anyway. So just with some of the outdoor seating going on, and some other things, and new restaurants coming to town, we just, Brian wanted to do kind of an audit. So he went out and audited basically all of the restaurants and areas, even like Maple Field and so forth, that had more than one allocation for seating. So he went through and did an audit. Pretty much everybody was where they should be. There was one restaurant that we, as far as inside is concerned. And the other thing that brought this up again was some of the outdoor seating that had been going on, and then allocations and so forth. So there was one restaurant that had come into play that is not up to the allocations for indoor seating. And kind of the first step or thought that Brian asked is, do we look at least getting everybody to where they should be on allocations for indoor seating? And again, there's one restaurant that we would have to look at doing, either they'd have to reduce their seats or they'd have to increase their allocations. And then we discussed kind of the outdoor seating, and one of the things that I threw out there, because again, trying to be business friendly, and as people add seats, do we look at, because it's not obviously full all the time, it's, you know, I doubt any restaurant's both full inside and outside. So should we look at maybe, a percentage off of the indoor? So if a restaurant has 4 allocations or seats, as you can see on your little chart there, the number of seats allowed, so if they have 50 seats inside, and again, I'm just totally making this number up, do we do 25%? So 25% of 50 seats, in the summertime, you're allowed to have 25% of 50 seats outside. So you put that many seats outside.
What's the number of seats per allocation? Like that would be.
What's the question? This is what I need to write. I think it's 4.7 or something like that, 4.2.
No, 4.9. No,
Is it written down?
4.9 allocations.
Oh, right there, yeah. Number of allocations for number of seats allowed.
So one allocation is 7.4 seats?
Yes.
So 7.4 seats per allocation.
I know it's the formula that the state gives you.
It is.
I'm just.
Binder that basically tells you the type of industry and then how much, kind of their estimate that they would use, and then there's a formula to it. So
I'm wondering how they got state approval, because you'd think that the state would do their homework and say, you only have X amount of allocations. Like the health department, that's
Then
what they do, right?
There's a.
It's totally unrelated. I asked that question too. It's actually unrelated. They may go off of, the only way it would matter is if they had like it's like a fire code. But usually our allocations would be more than the fire allocations.
Then there's notes in the green says 2021 Brian confirmed 52 seats at 24 gallons per day. But then you go to the tan calculations, it looks like it's 27 gallons per day.
So some of this, there's one section, part of this, we're gonna discuss in executive. I can add some more color connotation to that.
Gotcha.
The biggest question now for us to answer is, per the audit, do you want to verify everybody internally? Internal seating is at where they should be, or addressed with a letter saying, you're gonna buy more or reduce your seating. That's the first question, that's kind of the primary question tonight.
That's probably
Then
where
from
we should
there-
start.
What's that?
So that's probably where we should start.
And then from there, again, something you can think of, we have to decide tonight. What do we do about the outdoor seating? Because it's kind of all over the place. And do you want,
You'd be lucky to sit outside, so.
Right.
And if you do, you get, like you were saying, it's not even gonna be 50% of the year, so.
right, it's like it's
Yeah,
three
no, I
months.
think just get everyone up to speed on the indoor seating, and
Right.
the outdoor is just a bonus for them.
So again, the follow-up question would be, when it comes to outdoor, should we go off a percentage of indoor? Should we go off of just a random number, or however you want to look at it for outdoor seating, so that when, so that it's, I guess, equal throughout, so.
Well, if
Right,
you
so
did
we
it,
have a policy
Yeah.
that people can follow so that people aren't randomly, so we don't find ourselves in big trouble if like there's like extra seating and then all of a sudden they get full and, is that what you're saying?
Right, and again, these will be more changes to our ordinance, it's not, getting everybody up to stuff inside is not a change. And outdoor seating will be a change.
Do we have anything that specifically states anything about outdoor seating?
Not really, no. Well, it's just an allocation, so that's, so right now, if you look
But it
at.
states that outdoor seating is considered a standard allocation or?
Exactly, it's just the number of seats. So if we went in this audit, and that's where it came about, so in this audit, if you had 30 seats inside, and then all of a sudden, like, well, I want to put 25 outside this summer. In theory, we should be going after them for the 25, so now there are 55 allocations. Or 55 seats, and however many more allocations they would need. So the idea is, again, to be somewhat business friendly, do we just come up with a formula? So if you have so many seats inside, you can have so many more seats outside.
I think the percentage of the seats that anybody needs outside is rather small because you've got weather, you've got a very short season, you've got bugs, you know, which there are a lot of reasons that not everybody even wants to sit outside, even if there is outside seating.
Right. So that's why it's a hard sell to say, well, you should pay a whole other allocation for that
Right.
seat that's outside.
Right. And it's kind of a permanent cost, because what if it rains 365
Right.
days a year, you never have outdoor seating?
Locust invasion.
Because getting a day that's not too hot or too
Yes,
cold,
there you go.
or raining or whatever is, you know, it's like a
50 mile
bonus
an
seat.
hour wind.
Right.
Just-
Yeah.
that's what I want.
There was quite a few at the Quincy on the porch today.
Kind of 6 people when I was there.
Only 6?
Yeah.
I thought it was more
3,
than that.
4, 5, 6, and then one little kid running around.
Okay.
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5.
6.5, 6 1/4. All right.
Yeah, I think we'll get the indoor seating straightened out for now. I personally I don't see going after outdoor seating allocations kind of viable.
it's-
It's,
It's such a temporary thing that it seems that to go after them is
Right.
almost spiteful.
right.
And I don't think just because you have outdoor seating necessarily means you're gonna fill it all.
No,
So, on the restaurant-friendly side of things, I think we should leave the outdoor seating alone for now. Unless it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I guess my only question would be, would there be a concern for our system? With the wastewater system?
Again, yeah, I mean, just because of the usage, we're not seeing, I mean, what is seeing that, because like I said, we're not. If they have 10 seats outside and 30 inside, and it's a nice night, they're probably gonna have 10 people outside and 10 people inside. Not
Right.
Yeah.
50, full seat, we don't work,
Right.
I mean, nice to get to that point.
Yeah.
Restaurant full
well,
every night.
when we
but-
get there, we'll deal with it.
But yeah, even with staffing, I mean, it's probably hard for anybody in staff to maintain 20 seats
Very
inside,
much
20
so.
outside, so.
Yeah.
um,
Okay, we all set on that for right now?
This next one's exciting.
Set the tax rate. What do we have, Adam?
Good news. Good news all around. Yay. Our grand list went up substantially, which helped, and that was primarily because of the Learning Tree new building
Tractor supply, too?
last year. Tractor Supply,
I
yeah.
did.
Yep. So primarily, again, the Learning Tree, and then Jesse said we did also have several porch garage additions, which are small, but we had quite a few that add up. But those were the biggest changes due to the increase of the grand list. Based upon the increase of the grand list and a few things we talked about at the last meeting, the delay in the Elm Street sidewalk project, the savings on the speed bumps, and then also Ken and I kind of went line item by line item in the highway, and we were able to make a few adjustments down that saved a few $1,000s. The tax rate that we're proposing is significantly less than what was approved at budget season due to these savings. So I'm proposing a 0.7803%, which is a 3.58% increase versus the original 17.
That's fantastic news.
Wonderful.
Yep.
news.
So, right now, just based upon, time off for staff, holidays, billing, proposing September 11th be the mail out date. And then the due date would be Friday, October 25th. So we have to give at least 30 days, so that gives us about 45-ish days, which is what we've been trying to do the last couple of years.
I don't think anybody's gonna argue with that. I will hear a motion to set the tax rate at 0.7803 for 2024 which is a 3.58% increase over 2023.
Move.
I heard Eli with the first and Leonard with the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I
Thank
wonder,
Hopefully people notice.
I was gonna
Yes.
say, I was wondering if we can
Can we tell them?
R for this,
Yeah.
like,
Let them
blast
know
it everywhere.
how hard we have worked and
Would it
what
be hard to like
you've
have just
managed
an
to do
extra
for
little
'em.
paper to stuff in there? Like,
No, not
here's
at all.
here's what we originally had set.
Yeah,
We got it down to this.
happy to say that,
It's like a
here it
banner
is.
over Main Street.
Right. Well, no, but you know when people voted on it in March, they might not remember even what they
Right.
voted for. Like,
Yeah.
And they might only be remembering that they're afraid it's gonna go sky high and that's all
Right.
they're thinking about. Might be nice for them to be able to read that, no, it's not.
Yeah, maybe even a front porch forum post, Facebook, just, some sort of summary.
Toot our horn a little
Write
bit.
press release.
Something, yeah, something like
Something
yeah,
positive
we'll
we
direct
can,
John to do
throw out
a
there.
press release.
Especially with some of the, people are posting about 30%
Right.
increases.
Mhm.
That's not our community, and we wanna make sure that our community members understand.
Know that we are
like,
working for them, and
Yes, yeah, and we made some positive change. Without losing services, so.
cool.
Yay.
Good news. Okay. John's up next with the manager's
I
notes.
believe I have it on this week, or this meeting, I didn't put it in there. The only thing I had was really, no open house, we're not gonna do an open house this year. We're gonna go to biannual. It does take quite a bit of work for all of us to get
Mhm.
We
together.
didn't have
And
the
last
turnout
year we
last
had.
year like we had the first year, so I think we,
Well, that was the whole new broom sweeps clean thing. We'd
Right.
never done it, so
Yeah.
nobody could believe it was actually
And maybe
happening.
next year would be better too. Once everything out there is taken
Yeah.
care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out the new block.
You won't spend the whole day listening to when's that coming down.
So that's pretty much all I had, for this meeting at this point.
Short and sweet. Other business. Heather.
Yeah, the supervisory union, it's a little short notice, learned that a grant to help create, an expansion for childcare centers reopened, so they didn't allocate all the funds for the grant, and so they're, applying to help fund an SU, staff-only childcare center. So this, I was wondering if we could sign a letter of support, just stating that we recognize that childcare is needed and that it would be a good service to the community.
Where are they thinking about hosting the site?
Where the Monteith House was, that building
Well,
needs to come
good.
down.
Oh, it
Which
does?
where?
where, I'm sorry?
The Monteith House.
It's not worth
in
saving?
Cold Hollow.
It's not worth saving?
It would take a lot.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know what you're talking
Where
about.
So-
the old rec department was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what the plan is, they have a human services program in Cold Hollow, so those students would actually be able to learn some employment skills working at the center.
Hands
The
on.
center would be open during school hours employed by the school, so school staff would be able to enroll their students in childcare there, which currently a lot of them are taking up childcare in places for 52 weeks because that's what you need to do, even though they don't need 52 weeks of care, which takes spots away from other families who might need 52 weeks of care. So this will help kind of fill an employability need for the SU. Lots of people actually say, sorry, I can't work there because I couldn't find daycare in your area, because they live maybe out of town. So they have to work the other side of where their daycare is and stuff like that. So they're working pretty hard on finding grants to try to build that.
It's cool.
How would it be funded?
From the staff that pay into the daycare. So it's not a taxpayer burden for the services for the program, and it'll be employed by the childcare staff will be employed by the SU, which also can keep some of the expenses down for the center because the overhead would be rather low since we already have the SU already have the whole system and infrastructure for supporting staff.
So,
You want me to put this on letterhead?
Yeah, if we decide to go forward,
Okay.
yes, I would need it on letterhead, please.
Okay.
So, since we don't have it on letterhead, if we decide to do this, maybe we can allow John to sign.
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
No, yeah, good idea. Is there any other places that do something like this?
There are other businesses that do have in-house childcare, but as far as I am aware, we don't have any schools in the state. It's been talked about for quite a long time, it's just a really big undertaking. But I think with the need and our early childhood director that we have, that's a fairly new job that we have to, and the Cold Hollow program right there, I think it could work, and it would be in Enosburg Village, so it also would kind of benefit us in terms of our services and stuff that we
And
have.
you'll have plenty of parking, right? Since
There's
the supervisory
lots
union at
of
the moment has
plans.
none.
There's plans of that whole Cold Hollow area, so they would be tuning into that.
Right, because none of the sugar house did anymore either, right?
No, they're
I'm
building
not
that
sure
out of town.
Where everything is with that, but like the school already owns all that property, so they would be looking into
Yeah,
making
the sugar
sure.
house isn't going.
Because it was gonna go there, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
And it's quite rare, that leaves a lot of space right
Yeah, that
whole
barn.
thing has changed.
So this would be available to all supervisory union employees?
Yes. Yeah. It would be right here in the village.
It'd be kind of central, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know the BFA Tech Center has a daycare within the Third Human Services kids work. I don't know if it's just for school staff or anything, but they have a daycare right in their tech center. They always have that you can bring your kids to, and then many of the students get their hands-on experience there.
It's really valuable for them. Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
I don't
I don't think so.
really don't.
Let's
We probably should.
let's make a motion
John.
to, I guess, support this letter and to authorize John to sign on our behalf.
Move.
Second,
Eli first, Sandy second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Cool, that would be neat. Any other business?
I just comment that I've been noticing a lot of four-wheelers on the road.
oh God,
Doing wheelies and all kinds of
All
stuff. It's
night
been
long.
A lot of people.
flying up Main Street,
Yeah.
on the sidewalk as well as
Yep,
the
I've been
street.
seeing them on the
I can't
sidewalks.
believe that my fireplace chimney is even still there. It's almost every night, and it's usually between 11 and, well, if you count the artist who did the work on the corner, 3:15 a.m. Yeah, that was Sunday morning.
But it's also during the day too.
Oh, yeah,
Like, and all
oh, he
times
was
during
flying
the day.
all over today during the
Today
day.
was 4 o'clock in the afternoon doing wheelies while it was bumper to bumper traffic because of the detour.
Right down Depot Street with those tractor trailers that are trying to go in both directions. Just,
Did you ever get cameras going on that intersection? By Floyd's or O'Reilly's?
Not that far up, I'd have to get more Wi-Fi. And
It
I have
seems
it, I can see almost like Sherwood's, or right.
cause the one
I
Sunday
looked at it.
morning on the corner, it took him or her a good, at least 15 minutes to finish that little artwork. Just screech after screech after screech.
Oh, you're talking about.
The circles that are in the
Yes,
middle.
yeah, I was noticing
That was a
those.
good 15 minutes, if not more. I thought I was gonna jump out my window. But everybody knows there's no,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing anybody can do.
That corner's always been
Oh, always.
known for
And
that.
well, I think I know what part of the problem is. I think part of the problem is that the employees standing there going,
Oh,
because they think it's adorable, because, yeah. Mhm.
Actually, other camera probably catches like that corner.
Lorraine Scott asked that a speed bump be put on her street. She said it's terrible.
I can vouch for that. The kids were here with me Friday and we went wandering around and walking around in Pleasant Street.
that's Lower Pleasant?
Yeah.
We have one available.
I thought we were.
Well, all the
Plan
way,
was to do
all
it
from my
on
place,
Street.
way down. They just in front of your place.
Yeah, well, we were gonna hold
We were
off.
holding off
until
'cause of the
detour was
detour.
done.
We were gonna hold off, and I was
Oh, no.
not here on one of our meetings that we talked about.
But Lower Pleasant, there's no detour there.
Nope,
You're supposed to go down Pleasant to Depot.
that's just people that are choosing to speed.
I mean, it was almost an accident the other day, because you had a car backing out, it might have even been close to Lorraine's house, and this car went flying down. Luckily, they paid attention and slammed on the brakes, but
And they go by so fast in front of their house. I was here the other day after a rainstorm. And there's a hollow in the blacktop in front of her house. And when those cars go by, it goes right up to her front door. You know, when
Yeah.
cars
Yeah.
are speeding.
Because they're going so fast, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yes.
We can install one there.
Well, I mean, they are not permanent, we can move them around.
We had to think about moving the speed signs too, probably. It's been a
Yeah.
while since
The
we've
one
done that.
in front of Leonard's house is kind of
Yeah,
obsolete with everything that's
Yeah.
going on.
I do wonder if a speed sign down by Pleasant Street would get some attention though, just,
Maybe we should try that first,
yeah.
pointed in the right direction this time.
right? Put it on Lower Pleasant.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell.
Lower
Yeah,
Pleasant
lower,
as,
yeah.
yeah, I definitely,
Okay, you wanna move the one from Leonard's house to Lower Pleasant?
yeah, see if that
I'm
just.
sure we put,
Mine's not
Mine's
out
really
enough
cool.
yet.
How fast do actuators go?
16. Oh,
should we take the one from Dollar General and put it like on School Street or something?
Yeah, now that school's in, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
The Dollar General one to School Street.
Yep.
Do you really think that these amount to something?
I think they do for a little while, but
Yeah.
I
they've,
slow
they've,
down.
they've been,
Yeah,
Since I like the one on Pearl.
yeah. But
yeah, I like that one.
it's been there so long now, people are used to it.
Right, yeah, it's been a while.
You kinda-
It's been a
It's
while.
like the trucks and stuff that are coming, there's more of a heads up.
Do we move it for a little bit and then maybe put it back, like?
Right, we can always,
Because we talked about doing the rotations.
switch them back.
Yep.
You gotta get the shock factor in there at first.
Right, and if,
Well-
and on Pleasant, if the speed signs don't work, well, then we'll pull in the speed bumps.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing
And
a
the
good
spikes
portion
and a few
of
other
people
things.
speeding will realize, oh, I'm speeding and slow down.
Hopefully.
So where do
It
you
won't
want
hit
it
everybody,
on,
but it'll get some people.
on Lower Pleasant? You want it facing?
I think it should be, because a lot of the speeding I'm seeing is going down towards the school. So it should be catching traffic going.
Like going up towards the Catholic
Away-
Church.
Away from the church and down that
Yeah.
way.
That's where it was, because we were walking through and
Okay. So same size Lorraine's facing if you're going towards.
And then the one on School Street must be headed in the same direction.
Headed like towards Brownway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Wherever it's,
easy to put
right,
it.
wherever it's easy for those guys to.
So he's making them put speed signs everywhere. At some point, we'll have them everywhere.
Yeah. Well, once all the anchors are there, then we can just move them wherever we want.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they do sell some on wheels. I don't know.
they're a lot,
Are they
they're pretty expensive.
There's one in
And
Hyde
you have
Park
to
right now, and it looks kind of silly.
And you have to store them,
Yeah.
and there's more issues with those, the sheriff's office when I worked, they used to have one, and they never worked 90% of the time.
Fair enough.
Just one quick little thing on FEMA. We did put in for the January storm fin. We put in for $34,000. John and I got an email last week. I think due to all of the flooding in the state, they are currently not paying out public assistance or hazard mitigation. So basically, we'll pay you sometime, but we have no idea when, and it won't be in the near future because they're trying to pay out all the individual claims. So any FEMA events right now moving forward for storms for us, they still want us to go through the motion, but we have no idea when we will see a payout.
But we did get approved.
We did, yeah, because what happened was is FEMA went through all the FEMA stuff, they got kicked to the state, it was to be obligated. And usually the last couple that we've done, they've been really quick, and I was like, wow, it's been a while, and I was gonna email, and then they came in and had that email from Kim Kanaraki with the State Emergency Management saying, just kidding, you're approved, but.
But-
I'm not gonna
There's
say
other,
no.
there's other people like
Yeah,
that.
they needed a lot more.
If we get, just that's something to also keep in mind, if we, knock on wood, get hit with any storms this winter, we'll go through the motions, but have no idea if, when we will get paid.
We'll hope for the best.
Yeah. Alright, other business?
It's not business, I just wondered, my grandfather's house, right up the street here, 105 to 108, where they dug up the front lawn, did something,
Oh.
Well, Sam Parent's old house.
yeah,
They their water line broke. Their
it was
service
their,
line.
and it was their problem.
It was their.
Okay, I just saw it all dug up and I didn't know what.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a new lawn, hopefully.
Any other business? Hearing no other business, I will entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing negotiations in which premature public knowledge may compromise the position of the municipality.
Move.
Second.
You are the first, Sandy the second, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay.